Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
Hey guys, let's watch a video, shall we? Subscribe, do a like. Pieces of history. What Germans feared most about American and British soldiers? World War II. Let's go. Let's learn. My name's Connor. If you're new, original link to the video top of the description. If you haven't seen it yet or want to watch it on your own, go ahead.
June 6, 1944, Omaha Beach. As the 352nd Infantry Division fights for its life against the American 1st Division, Oberlieutenant Franz Gockel scrawls in his diary, "They keep coming. Not like soldiers, like a force of nature." Meanwhile, near Cannes, Hauptmann Helmut Ritgen of Panzerlehr watches British tanks advance and notes, "Every movement is precise, mechanical, and terrifying." These men witnessed the same war, but their enemies could not have been more different. Today, we reveal exactly what German veterans said about the ultimate World War II rivalry.
This is fascinating, seeing how the Germans are going to... I'm curious to see how they viewed the soldiers of different nations differently. I'd also like to learn how they viewed other, like the Soviets, Italians, even though they were on their side, and others. So, this is a really interesting video.
American aggression versus British discipline. Using never-before translated diaries, classified after-action reports, and post-war interrogations, this is the definitive comparison through the eyes of those who fought both. The Germans coined a term for American warfare, Material Schlacht, the Battle of Materials, and no one documented it better than Oberst Hans von Luck of the 21st Panzer Division. His after-action report from Kasserine Pass, February 1943, states, "The Americans lack our tactical tradition, but their artillery responds 3 times faster. When their forward observer calls, shells land before we can relocate." Luftwaffe ace Hans Joachim Marseille wrote in his final diary entry, September 1942, "Their P-40s are inferior to my 109, but today I saw 50 of them. Where do they get so many planes?" While Americans overwhelmed with firepower, the British earned a darker nickname.
So this is something I've heard before about American soldiers in World War II, and that we were far from the most disciplined and tactically ingenious army, maybe the least of the powers in World War II. But what we lacked in that, we just had unending supply of men and material. And so it's like, even if you're, what was that saying? It's like, what was it saying? Like one Panzer or Tiger could kill 4 American, well, I'm butchering the quote, 4 American tanks, but they would just use 5. I thought that was an interesting, gave me some insight into how they thought. It's like, they might not be the most tactical or have the best material, but they have a lot of it.
General Feldmarschall Erwin Rommel wrote to his wife on November 2nd, 1942, "The Tommies dig in like termites. Even when we break their lines, they cling to rubble and die rather than retreat." Sanitäts Unteroffizier Rolf Monk of the 15th Panzer Division noted, "British wounded refuse morphine until after their mates are treated. This is not normal soldier behavior."
Classic British.
On D-Day, the 352nd Division's Gefreiter Heinrich Severloh, the Beast of Omaha, fired 12,000 MG-42 rounds.
Sorry, that's so classic British in my eyes, and why I admire British soldiers so much when I learn about them is that no matter, like, if I could be under any random commander from a country at the time, I would choose a British one without even a second thought. Just because I imagine them being like, no matter what happens, they're still, like, instead of, like, a lot of people being like, oh God, we're losing. Like, oh God. They're just like, carry on. Like, okay, I've lost my leg. A third of my company has died, but keep going, soldiers. Just nonchalantly. And maybe I'm over fantasizing it a bit, but that's how I view British soldiers throughout history. It's just like, okay, like they would sound the same in losing a deadly, bloody battle as they would having tea at their house in peacetime. And again, maybe I'm over romanticizing it, but that's just my view. It's like, well, just, just keep going, guys. All right. It's impressive and terrifying. Terrifying.
Heinrich Severlo, the Beast of Omaha, fired 12,000 MG-42 rounds into the 1st Division. His post-war memoir, WN-62, admits, "By the 5th wave, I realized these were not men, they were machines. They walked through their dead as if ghosts." Unterscharführer Rudolf Schroeder of the 12th SS Hitlerjugend wrote on June 8th, "Americans charged machine guns without cover. At first we laughed until we ran out of ammunition." Meanwhile, the British 50th Division moved differently. Major Hans von der Heide of Panzer Lehr reported, "Their tanks advanced exactly 200 meters, then stopped to bombard us. It's maddening, like playing chess against a computer." Schütze Urs Kruger, 3rd Fallschirmjäger, noted in Cannes, "Canadians clear house."
Interesting hearing a comparison to a computer in World War II, but I know that the concept of computers were a thing at the time, so yeah.
Schütze Urs Kruger, 3rd Fallschirmjäger, noted in Cannes, "Canadians clear houses room by room. Americans would have called naval guns and erased the block." In 1944, the SS compiled a secret report, Tactical Comparison of Anglo-American Forces. Lieutenant Klaus Fischer's analysis concluded, close combat, British, commandos trained in Fairbairn Sykes knife fighting. Artillery response, Americans, 3-minute average versus Germany's 15. Night fighting, British, feared phantom patrols in Holland. Adaptability, Americans, improvised bridges under fire. Perhaps the starkest difference was in supply. Oberstleutnant Siegfried Westphal, Rommel's chief of staff, wrote, "While we counted bullets, Americans threw away half-used ammo boxes. Their trucks looked new after 1,000 miles. Ours broke down after 200. In 1945, captured Wehrmacht General Anton Dostler was asked why Germany lost. His reply, "Your trucks never broke down. Ours never worked." Beyond tactics, Germans were fascinated by American psychology. Hauptmann Alexander Stahlberg of the 11th Panzer Division wrote in his memoir Bound in Duty, "They fight not for Führer or fatherland, but because it's Tuesday. When we captured a GI near Metz, he asked for a Coke and baseball scores, not political demands." A declassified 1944 Gestapo report, B Arch R58345, analyzed US POWs. 78% expressed no hatred for Germans, only desire to finish the job and go home.
Yeah, regardless of the mentality of an American or British or German soldier, I mean, America was much later to start in the war, just like in World War I as well. And you didn't have the animosity from the other country that was bombing your civilians because we were across the Atlantic and entered the war late. And coupled with the overall American soldier mentality, that's not too surprising.
This apolitical attitude confused our interrogators.
Also, another reason why it makes sense that records of a lot of Germans wanting to flee, like if you had to be captured in the East by a Soviet or in the West by an American, they would always choose the American, and I'm sure that's part of the reason why, is because they didn't have this insane instilled hatred.
The British inspired equal fascination. So. Lieutenant Hans von Lindorf, a medic at Monte Cassino, noted, "Even with legs blown off, Tommies asked for tea first. Their officers..."
Classic British. That's what I'm talking about. Just like, oh my God, is tea ready? It's like, oh my God, it's so cool and slightly terrifying.
Led charges wearing neckties. It was beyond comprehension. Captain Lieutenant Heinz Scheffer's U-boat log, May 1945, records captured Royal Navy sailors demanding proper tea time despite being prisoners. A moment he called the most British thing I ever witnessed. Decades later, the divide endured.
Guys, I'm laughing out of pure admiration. Any Brits watching, like, of course, getting your leg blown off is no laughing matter. It is out of pure admiration and awe that of just
American I ever witnessed. Decades later, the divide endured. When American 101st Airborne veteran David Webster met former Wehrmacht soldier Peter Rees in 1980, their conversation said it all. Webster asked, "Who scared you more, us or the British?" Rees replied, "You had the machines. They had the soul." 2 armies, 1 victory, and a German verdict that still resonates. As Lieutenant Walter Casper summed it up in his 1945 diary, the British fought with tradition. The Americans fought with the future.
Interesting video. This has only cemented my kind of romanticized ideas of British troops. Another thing, even in modern tanks, I know that a lot of British, I believe still in modern tanks, a lot of British tanks have a thing that you're able to make tea in them. And it's like, a lot of other people, I think, might think that's like a waste of space in a tank that you already need. You need to think about how you use space as much as you can. But to the British, it's like, no, it's non-negotiable. I need my tea. Is comical and, again, terrifying. That was a cool video. Love y'all. Hope you're all doing well. Look at me. If you're not doing well, look. You'll be okay soon, all right? Don't worry. Emotions are fickle, my friend. Chin up. Yeah, would appreciate any comments, guys. See you next time. We'll keep on learning together. Bye.